Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at msdynamicsworld.com. On this episode, sponsored by Blue Horseshoe Solutions, I talk with Steve Schabuski and Mike Castelluccio. Steve is the Vice President of Digital Transformation at Blue Horseshoe, and he's a veteran program manager and design lead for the company's warehouse management and transportation management solutions. Mike is the partner director at Blue Horseshoe with a focus on developing and expanding relationships in the Microsoft ecosystem with customers and partners. Blue Horseshoe holds a notable role in the overall history of Microsoft's enterprise ERP development. The firm was founded in 2001 and has developed modules for warehouse and transportation management that Microsoft has incorporated into its products, first with Dynamics AX and now Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management. On this episode, Steve and Mike discuss some of the standout features and differentiators in Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management today, and how Blue Horseshoe has moved their own roadmap forward after seeing so much of their own IP become standard in the Microsoft product. Okay, I'm here with Steve Schabuski and Mike Castelluccio from Blue Horseshoe Solutions. Hi, Steve. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it, Jason.
So I thought maybe we could just start with some introductions. Steve, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do there at Blue Horseshoe?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the vice president of our digital strategy team here at Blue Horseshoe, and really my role has evolved over the last 15, 16 years I've been here. But in the last 5 years, really just kind of focusing on helping us as Blue Horseshoe, and then obviously our customers and prospects align, the business processes of the industries we focus on, obviously, CPG, distribution, transportation, and retail. Those industries align to how to leverage technology to make better decisions, improve processes, and really and help them digitally transform. And so for us, that really goes across five real, broad areas, specifically integrations and data, analytics, the business applications themselves, and all of the business processes. So really, it's a role of a very broad one of really trying to help Blue Horseshoe navigate all of the choices out there and the possibilities, and then ultimately our customers understand the technology and capabilities available, and then help them leverage it in a way that's incrementally beneficial to our customers and prospects as a business. So that's what I've been doing. I got a team of folks that focus in all of those different areas and really kind of roll up to deliver those capabilities internally and externally.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks. And hi, Mike. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, can you tell us a little more about yourself as well?
Great to be here, dude. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the director of marketing here at Blue Horseshoe. One of my main tasks and priorities is really to work directly with Microsoft and our relationship with them on how we're going to market across kind of their product lines and offerings, and really trying to take the things that Steve and his team work on and the ways that we're helping customers, and really try to put that into kind of a consumable message that people can see and people can connect with.
Excellent. Well, I mean, this is really an interesting time to talk about sort of where some of those intersections happen between some of the technology you're focused on and some of the most recent Microsoft announcements. And we'll get into this, but a lot of that really is intertwined in some interesting ways. Directly with Blue Horseshoe Solutions. I thought we could maybe just start by talking about a couple of the highlights that Microsoft has recently unveiled in terms of its Dynamics 365 supply chain management solution. A couple of things that they really seem to be excited about coming out of the Ignite 2020 event, and the upcoming release waves of the product are directly related to supply chain. So there's finally, it seems like a hybrid model that they're planning to roll out. I think it's something we've been hearing about for quite a while now, but it seems like it's actually going to become a reality. The ability to sort of manage production, manage distribution on the edges of a core D365 solution. Have you seen much about that announcement? And do you have any sort of initial thoughts on what kind of guidance Microsoft has provided, Steve?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So definitely have been connected to those that roadmap and those decisions. The interesting thing, if you kind of just take a step back and look at it holistically, Microsoft has done a really good job with edge computing for a long time. If you look at their retail solutions and POS in particular, the capabilities there to run a store and inventory offline and on the edge has been there, for as long as we've been doing Microsoft. So it's a capability they've always had. What's been really nice about this roadmap is as they've acquired more and more capabilities in manufacturing, and obviously with our help in distribution and warehousing, being able to leverage the understanding of the technology to be able to do those things, and then pushing it into other areas and disciplines of the supply chain like manufacturing and distribution. So yeah, we're excited about the roadmap and just continuing the ability to expand that edge computing and create sort of that risk averse approach to a lot of our customers is very exciting.
And the other one that, the other sort of Microsoft focused announcement that I just wanted to touch on was related to sort of new inventory. I guess it would be sort of an inventory visibility microservice. It's something that I don't know if you've really had much of a chance to. It seems like it's pretty new even from Microsoft's side. The ability to sort of hook in more sort of real time or very quickly moving data from inventory, from warehouse management, both within your organization, but perhaps also with partners.
Yeah, that's and so the vision with this solution is obviously very exciting, right? So for a lot of folks, the inventory network that you're trying to work with is potentially beyond the technology systems that you're on. So you think about disparate systems potentially through acquisitions, but you also start thinking about your vendors and your partners. When a customer calls and you want to be able to service them, it may be inventory in your own facilities, your stores, or your partners, facilities and stores. And so being able to understand that availability across partners, across your own disparate systems, and bringing all that together in a hyper scalable solution that's fast and easily accessible is obviously going to be a game changer for a lot of folks. You think about just some of our customers today. I was just actually talking with an auto parts distributor this morning, and they were talking about customers coming up and looking for a part, and that customer service representative having 7 websites of different part manufacturers or different partners that they could source that product from to really service that customer, and that's a painful experience. And really being able and offering customers an ability to connect to those partners and service customers better and understand inventory position and costs and those types of things is going to be a game changer. So we're excited to start to incorporate that with our customers, and excited for the possibilities here going forward.
Yeah, I mean, to step back a bit there, that seems to be one of those challenges that people have known about for a long time, but perhaps a lot of organizations didn't have, the technical tools or maybe the technical skills or budget perhaps to take on as a challenge to be solved. Is that how you would characterize something like that kind of visibility in the supply chain? Or how is that kind of a goal changed over the years?
Yeah, technology in terms of just the accessibility of data in general has changed. What it costs to store information, how fast those types of things can work, how fast you can access information. Really, cloud computing in general has been the game changer, and I think having that sort of platform that can get data in and out very quickly, a place to store it at low cost, and a place to access it was step one. And Microsoft is obviously focused on that. And then to purpose build some of these microservices like this one around inventory is the second phase, right? So, what information is key to the customers Microsoft is trying to service, and obviously inventory visibility is one of those key things. So building, I think this is going to be just one of many things we see going forward, where they're going to offer, customers to use their platform to connect with all other folks out there through all kinds of technologies, so that they can connect with their partners and gain access to more information, ultimately to improve supply chain and service. So, I think, going forward, this is, I think this is going to be one of many things that Microsoft's going to start to provide in terms of capabilities.
All right. Well, to get back into to your organization a bit and its own evolution as these things have changed, can you talk about that a little bit? I could really throw this open to each of you, but how your own roles, in the role of your solutions in the marketplace, and perhaps your roles in your company and working with your clients has changed over recent years.
Yeah, I'll start with that one. I think it's clear, that Microsoft has really expanded their platform. And so, I look back and I sometimes I'm off with the dates. We were joking about that today. But if you look back 5 years ago, Blue Horseshoe as a partner, we were essentially an ERP implementer. We implemented ERPs around supply chain needs. And as Microsoft has grown the platform, and every year we heard them talking about the cloud, they were making steps, but everything really wasn't, tied together yet. It wasn't fully connected. But I think we've seen over the last 3 years now, as they've moved Dynamics to the cloud, as the CDS has really started to take hold, and you're able to connect these different applications. How we go to market, how we, help build solutions for our customers has totally changed. We used to have a toolkit that was really built around that ERP system and maybe CRM system. But now that goes across the Power Platform. It goes across to Azure. It's changed the way we even go to market with our own products, where, they were built in the layers of AX back 5-6 years ago. And now we've moved those to the Azure cloud, to where they really have that connectivity. A little bit to what Steve was talking about is, when you used to look at your network, there was things you just didn't have access to. You didn't have the data. You weren't connected to some of your partners and some of your inventory. And today those barriers have just started to disappear. And now you're able to get that data and really orchestrate your network in a much more, holistic and complete view. So, I think how we're going to market with the Microsoft platform is really being able to deliver more complete and more complex solutions for customers that really solve the problems, at the level they need them solved.
One of the things I think of with Blue Horseshoe specifically, and what I know of your company's history in the Microsoft channel, is sort of the amount of IP that you have either licensed or applied directly to the Microsoft core, AX and now supply chain management solutions. Can you talk a little bit more about, just for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, sort of what kind of partnership that has been and sort of where it's at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. We as a company, we were founded and kind of have supply chain in our DNA. So a lot of the people here have worked across distribution, manufacturing, CPG type companies for years, delivering supply chain solutions. When we looked at, when we were implementing Dynamics AX at the time, we saw that as a development platform. We saw there was strong capabilities for product development or IP development. And we saw that there was a lot of white space. At the time, back in version 2009, we knew that we could bring distribution, warehousing, transportation solutions to the table. So we started developing those. So, back then we developed our WAX and TRAX products, warehousing for AX and transportation for AX. And really, they kind of took hold within the market and became the go-to warehousing and transportation solutions for Microsoft. So in 2012, Microsoft bought that from us. So those two products became what is today the D365, supply chain management solutions. So the WHS and TMS modules. And then over subsequent years, we've always been developing more IP that fills that white space and really offers those industry-specific solutions. And 2 years ago, they licensed more of that. Those were our advanced warehousing and advanced transportation products that those are rolling out, and you see those in just about all these releases. They're putting functionality from those advanced pieces into the system. So we constantly work with the development teams out of Copenhagen and really try to stay ahead of and help implement, and bring those solutions into the base and core platform of Dynamics 365.
One thing that occurs to me when you talk about having, your IP being acquired or licensed, for you or really for any vendor working with Microsoft is, it must then require you to think even more, think even further out, think about even more advanced or sophisticated capabilities that then become part of your wheelhouse as a software creator.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what happened, when the base, WHS and TMS were released in 2012 R3. We really went, as you said, we already had other toolkits and other features that we were working on that became the core of that advanced warehousing piece. But that's really, maybe call it level of maturity is what we're always working towards, right? Is we are always looking to see how can we advance that? How can we add more capabilities, functionality? And, now today that gets focused on how do we share that data and use it across the platform, right? How do we ingest data and use it within the Power Platform, and the supply chain management finance modules as well?
Yeah, this is Steve. So I think, one of the things I just wanted to add, I think you were saying before, like how has your approach changed? And I think where Mike was going there is a really, really, really good point. It's, we did, focus for, in the beginning really on enhancing the ERP applications, and with the advent of cloud compute and really the Microsoft taking a lot of these business applications and putting them in the cloud and making all that data very accessible, we certainly have made a major shift for us in terms of building apps in Azure that are just, that provide capability, but really it's about, number one, connecting to all these existing apps. But the future of supply chain as we see it is really about connecting all the signals in the supply chain. So if you look at the things that we're really focusing on, it's, the major players in the world and edge computing, and really creating connections and understanding of those different signals. So you think about, Zebra, for instance, is doing a lot of work with edge computing and devices and BLE devices and, RFID in the cloud. You think about ELD capabilities, meaning the electronic logging devices in transportation and signals on trucks. You think about all of this, like with partners like Geotab and Omnitrax. You think about the carriers themselves and the shipping carriers. You think about all of those carrier networks, as well as global freight. Folks like C.H. Robinson and different folks that are really have key information about the supply chain. And our focus is really how do we bring all these signals in to a common platform and leverage them and filter out all the noise and get to the actionable information that'll help improve the supply chain for our customers. And so that has been a real big focus for us here in what I'll call the next phase of R&D and the next phase of the supply chain solutions that we're set to provide in the Microsoft space.
Can you talk a little more about maybe some of the architectural or technical changes or improvements that you've introduced to address some of those capabilities? One of the things I think of is, and that I've seen, is that your supply chain cloud now does use like Microsoft's common data model, which is really a very different thing from building in AX, for example, in the olden days.
Exactly. I mean, that's a key part, right? Is that you don't have to create these application capabilities inside an ERP system anymore, right? We have access to that data through the CDS. We have, the ability to leverage modern data warehouse tools in Azure and SynOps and things of that nature to really store big data at low cost and really be able to access it quickly, and not necessarily store it in the ERP type systems. And we have the ability to have that be a foundation to our supply chain cloud applications as well, so that we're keeping data in the app that's critical to execute it upon, but potentially there's a lot of other data that we're collecting from the supply chain that might be interesting from an analytics, machine learning, or data perspective as well. So we're actually incorporating all those technologies, right? The CDS in terms of just the access to the Dynamics platforms and things, and the overall connection to all the partners that Microsoft's already doing, as well as the ones that we're incorporating, and really bring all that together. And then our applications are just helping folks execute upon those things, and the actionable things that are coming from the supply chain. So absolutely, the technology is the enabler, and that's key step number one. And then our smart folks here at Blue Horseshoe really understanding how to make sense of all that information and create applications that'll help improve businesses and customer experience.
So maybe we could look at an example that might sort of highlight how much different or how much easier it is for ERP customers now to get some of the benefits out of these areas. I mean, things you're talking about, like some of this really important, like transportation data, or maybe you want to pick another example, but when it comes to sort of bringing some of that into an organization's view that they didn't have before, I mean, how much easier is it to achieve that today than it would have been, or maybe that's on your roadmap, but how much easier is it to achieve that today or soon than it was, in the AX 2012 era, for example?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know what? That's a key thing that's part of our cycles in terms of engaging new prospects as well as existing AX customers, is you have to kind of think about your digital transformation in a different way. It's no longer a big monolithic sort of implementation project where the value is, 12, 18 months out. It's more about looking at, hey, work, like you mentioned. So for instance, transportation, or maybe it's like dynamic routing of your trucks or something, like a capability like that, in this new world of applications and then common data service or common data platform, it enables you to incrementally implement capabilities. So you can look at, all of the things that you potentially want to do in terms of a project or in terms of your digital transformation, and pick off things that'll bring you the most value, and do things incrementally to provide value. So for instance, like we talked about just a second ago, I want to implement dynamic routing. We turn on the supply chain cloud to provide that capability, maybe dynamically route trucks and get that information back to a source system that is, maybe managing inventory, and later on we'll focus on that system. So, you can really compartmentalize things. You can incrementally create that value, as well as a long-term roadmap of lifting and shifting all those capabilities. So it's an exciting time to be a CIO, I think, where you don't have to sign up for a big old, monolithic project. You can provide that value to your business very quickly with all the tools that Microsoft's making available with this technology platform.
I've certainly heard that in recent conversations I've had with, D365, finance and supply chain management customers, that they seem to be, if they've gone live in the last, 12 or 18 months, it seems to be a sense that they are open to, to continually enhancing their solution, and that they plan to do that they have that mindset. Whereas, you talk to an AX 2009 or an early 2012 customer, I don't feel, this is all anecdotal, I don't have data on it, but it does seem like you wouldn't hear them saying how they plan to just keep rolling out new features. It seemed like they had a big launch and they were trying to either maintain that or just fix things that maybe didn't launch properly, they didn't go live with properly, you might say.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I hear all the time, and we see is what we call, the ability to consume new technology. So when you look at 2009, as you said, somebody looked at that as a development platform. So they implemented something and then they made a bunch of customizations, which at the time was good. But now we're at that stage, as Steve has talked about, that, and Microsoft does this even on a weekly basis, new technologies, new things are coming to the plate. You're not able to use those if you're on, kind of those closed systems. If you're on, that old system where you have lots of customizations. But, where we've gone today is now somebody gets on this, continuously updated system, and they're more focused on solving problems and able to use whatever technology solves it best. And I think, we've seen that in our solutions team and our product development team is, there's a lot more tools at your disposal to solve it the way that's best for your company now. And it's something you can continually be working on. And as Steve said, those can be smaller, compartmentalized one-off projects that don't change your core system. And I think that, that ability to consume new technology is one of the greatest things that a company can kind of focus on now, because you're not staying in the past. You're not worried about what upgrade do I need to be able to do that? You can get your hands on everything, right away if you think it'll make a difference for your business.
Well, that creates a nice segue to another really important topic I wanted to make sure we touched on while I have you here. When you talk about what businesses are really focused on today or concerned about, the COVID-19 pandemic has to be one of the biggest stresses that they've ever faced in a lot of cases. In terms of supply chains, especially, what are you advising clients to do to improve their supply chains as a result?
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest, taglines you'll see on all the Microsoft, in Ignite and different things. It's building the resilient supply chain, right? And certainly that's created a focus for everyone now in terms of taking a step back and looking at their supply chain and really understanding the risks in their supply chain. So where, who are my vendors? Where are my vendors getting raw materials? Where is my production? What is my manufacturing capacity? Under what laws and jurisdictions are my key components of my supply chain? Do I have options? So, folks are really taking a step back and understanding all of those components, not just your primary vendor, but all the way back from the vendors, and really taking and understanding your whole inventory network for a company to be successful. And I think that's been very critical. I think the other thing folks are doing is looking forward too. So where is my demand for my product? And, is for those folks that were selling through retail or selling through storefronts or different types of channels, is that the, what does that look like in different scenarios? And how quickly can you transition to other channels and still be a business? So I think everyone is taking a step back and trying to make sure that their business can be resilient based on different factors, whether it be a pandemic, global trade, tariffs and enforcements. All of these things, hurricanes, whatever it is, what we found with COVID is just it's been a longer term thing. There's always been these events that have affected the supply chain. I think the duration of this one has taken has forced folks to really take a larger step back. And so I think it's great, and it's creating a lot of energy around supply chain, which is obviously near and dear to our hearts here at Blue Horseshoe. So we're excited for all the new opportunities to help folks create more advantages in those areas.
And I might add to that too, but that resilient supply chain, we use the word adaptable today, and it fits exactly in with that. As Steve said, that the pandemic hasn't really just caused those supply chain issues. It's changed consumer behavior in a way nobody could predicted. It's changed channel behavior. It's changed company behavior, right? It's changed employee behavior. So, having that access to technology that I just talked about is really what allows a company to be adaptable and say, we don't know what's happening tomorrow, or we couldn't have predicted this, even with the best model. But if you were ready and your systems, or even a subset of your systems, are easily adaptable and easily changeable, you can react and you can make a lot better decisions to really have that resiliency. That's what we talk about. So, and as Steve said, it's putting a focus on that optimization of supply chain, on the planning, on all the pieces that we kind of bring to the table. So, we hope that helps companies really kind of grow and adapt themselves to building a strong supply chain and keeping a strong business.
Are there particular tools that maybe a company that you, in your experience, has realized when a problem arises or a change arises, that they either haven't been able to forecast something and they maybe even didn't realize it, or couldn't plan for a change in how their demand is changing? Are there any specific either cases or specific capabilities that sort of highlight this?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of you looking at the supply chain and looking at the various capabilities that would help companies be more effective. Certainly, certainly some of those things are important. I think number one, from my perspective, is, and we kind of talked about it earlier, is really understanding your inventory network and having options and understanding the various supply chain paths and lanes and things that are involved. Like we talked about earlier, that capability Microsoft's coming out with that inventory microservice, and really being able to understand where all this data is critical as trends change, and understanding what where demand is coming from. Being able to bring in POS data from your partners of what is actually being sold day to day, and what those things look like, and use it as part of your forecast. I think that's the biggest thing that, when you look at forecasting, it's all about the data that you're able to leverage. There's certainly companies that have done a really good job with all the algorithms and things to come up with, the forecast of, not only what you should have, but when you should buy. It's always about, how much and when. But really, what is the data that's going to help you support that? And I think that's one of the biggest things from technology perspective that we're seeing more and more of, is the access to more information in the network is only going to continue to improve your ability to forecast. So I think that's one of the most exciting things about the platform, is forecasting is only going to get better and better because we have more and more access to information. I think, there's other capabilities around, transportation and really understanding logistics. Right now, being able to, understand how to ship product in a quick way, in a cost-effective way, globally is very key, especially with the regulations and things that are out there. So understanding those things globally is important, and that's another big thing we're doing with the Azure platform and really connecting to all these carrier networks and partners is trying to create that visibility. So you can see a lot of the technology pieces, or everything kind of comes back to access to signals and information. And that's really what I think, is going to be a game changer. I think the applications themselves are going to continue to get better. Leveraging a forecasting system, obviously very, very important, but it's about what information you're feeding it as well. So that's kind of what we're helping our customers with. Again, there's so much capability out there now with the platform, and just helping them leverage it incrementally.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Sort of that focus on data and the ability to bring these sources together as part of the planning and part of the I guess strategizing. It really seems like a different world to an extent from a focus that I've often seen just when you're talking about AX and F&O in terms of warehouse management capabilities and some of the tactics that are used sort of internally within an organization. It's really a whole different viewpoint.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, all of our, now when we talk to a customer about forecasting, it's a conversation about the customer's customer and what they're doing, right? And so you talk about these networks of distributors and wholesalers, and the end customer and stores are online. Understanding the behavior of the entire, that entire channel all the way through, and bringing that information back in to potentially that manufacturer, so they can make more strategic decisions about where they're manufacturing, how they're manufacturing, where they're placing inventory. All of those types of things is things that trends that we're seeing companies take, and you're right. It's about data is really the key component going forward, and then it's not just having the data, but how do you leverage it effectively?
Yeah, and I would add to that too. It takes it out of just the operations side of the business. So, kind of as you said, it's not just optimizing the warehouse; it's really optimizing the customer experience. So, all of this data, sourcing things from the right way, making sure if things are back ordered, when they're going to be back ordered or they're not in stock. It gives the customer a better experience. And at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for, right? The customers, buying habits or demands have changed because now they expect everything to be shipped within a day or two. So it puts strains on, you need to make sure you're living up to those promises, or you're at least giving the customer the right information. And so that, like I said, that extends outside of the warehouse and more to the business level and the customer level.
Okay. And in terms of, maybe what Blue Horseshoe Solutions is up to these days, more broadly. Anything else that we haven't sort of touched on today that you want to just call attention to? Like for example, I had noticed that that you are broadening your focus in the dynamic space to Business Central to some extent, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the things that the Azure Development has helped with our products is the CDS and treating the data differently and not just being in those layers of AX has allowed that. So, our shipping solution that we have for kind of rating, and shipping packages, that extends to BC now as well, because it's a lot easier. We're not in the layers of AX, we're actually in Azure, and we can connect to either of those and deliver that easily. So that's really helped with that development of our new products to really connect across the Microsoft platform. It also, Microsoft just released the commerce piece, and our shipping, we were within a couple of weeks, we're able to connect and be connected directly into the commerce platform as well, which, that growth and that change of technology, that development process is really quick now and doesn't take a super long time.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that in terms of Blue Horseshoe and what are we up to? I think, as one of the shareholders of the business, we, this year we decided to really double down on our R&D efforts, the supply chain cloud. We've opened an office in Estonia to really help be able to bring capabilities to our cloud offering faster. And so really that's a huge focus for us. We're obviously going to continue to do all of the great things we've done on the Dynamics platform, whether it be finance, supply chain, business central, commerce, the Power Platform, data strategy and integration across Azure, all of those things. But then really a new hyper focus on our own IP and solutions and building those capabilities as Azure apps, leveraging all the Microsoft technology and connecting into Dynamics, as well as other platforms. Like, look, we know, and Microsoft's strategy is the same, is that, we go into customers now, if they run Salesforce, great. We'll bring that data into the platform with the other applications that are here and make those things connect and work together. So Microsoft's an open platform. They've created open partnerships with all of their frenemies, as we like to call them. And we want to be the same thing. We want to be, a platform agnostic in Microsoft, technology to help folks with supply chain. But obviously it's critical to us to have direct and access to all those, key business applications inside the Microsoft Dynamics family as well. So, and so we're excited. We hit the ground running this year with R&D. Our roadmap is full, and really is a new focus for us as an organization.
Well, exciting times. Well, Steve, Mike, thank you both so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We had a good time here, and hopefully offered some good information.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the conversation, and look forward to future ones as well. Thank you.
This has been another episode of the MSDW podcast. My thanks to Steve Schabuski and Mike Castelluccio of Blue Horseshoe Solutions for joining me today. For more information about building a more resilient supply chain and using Dynamics 365, visit bhsolutions.com and check out their supply chain resources on MS Dynamics World. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me by email, jgumpert@msdynamicsworld.com, or follow us on Twitter @msdynamicsworld. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.